What's up, everybody? I'm your host, David. You're back with Let's Talk Boxing, and let's talk about the fight last night, man. If you tuned into it, go ahead and drop a comment down below and tell me what you thought. Tell me what you thought about Lomachenko's performance. Tell me what you thought about Kambosos' performance. Tell me who you think. Who do you think should retire? Is the question. Do you think it's time for Kambosos to retire, or do you think it's time for Lomachenko to retire? Because one of these guys got to get up out of there with or without the victory. I called it yesterday, and what I said was Kambosos really doesn't have a lot of tools in his arsenal. And, yeah, he had an okay win over Teofimo Lopez, right? But Teofimo gave him that fight, and what I mean by that is Teofimo fought Kambosos' fight. He fell asleep to the right hand in the first round or the second round. What round was that? Yeah, the first round. He fell asleep to the first round after they just got an exchange and fell victim to that right hand. Devin Haney took that away from him and just used his jab and kept the distance the whole fight. And then you're going to have people like Keyshawn Davis to come to see Kambosos next. You're going to have people like Abdullah Mason coming to see Kambosos next. And you're not that skilled to stay up there with these guys. So you pushing the age of 30, and then you're having harder hitters come after you. I think personally, bro, just for your health, I think it's time for you to roll it up out of there. But now Lomachenko on another story. I say Lomachenko was back in the middle of the fight when I was watching the fight. Live last night, right? Middle of it, Lomachenko's back. He's going to finish him, and the reason I said that is I kind of called that days before when I did my fight prediction about it. But the reason I called it is because of two reasons. Kambosos is a flat-footed fighter. Kambosos is only going to look for a big right hand. And for somebody like Lomachenko, who is such a rarity in boxing, with his footwork, with his angles, it's extremely hard to train for somebody like that. You know what I mean? How are you going to train for somebody that really does not exist anywhere else? You're not going to get that replicated style to go in there and beat. So I had Kambosos stepping in the ring and not knowing what the hell was going on. I felt like I called it last night. I felt like if you watch my fight prediction, I was pretty on point. And look, let me go ahead and just show you guys what I'm talking about, because I'm going to show you my fight prediction. Kambosos is going to look for that big right hand. And I guarantee that's going to be one of his keys to victory, if he can consistently find a home for that big right hand. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Lomachenko's that guy to get hit with a big right hand over and over again. And so he's not going to sit still. He's going to take that right hand away from you. And then what are you going to do? And you're saying that he hasn't fought a fighter like you. What about Richard Comey? What about Axeman Walters? I think he's seen you before, my guy. And that's just it. Lomachenko's been in there with a Kambosos before. And that's why it was just so one-sided yesterday. And, my God, when I said Lomachenko was back, I meant it. But here, let's go in and jump into what his manager said.
When Loma's on his game, when he's at his pinnacle, and I think tonight you saw one of the great performances. Even now at this stage of his career, one of the best performances of his career. There's a reason they call him the Matrix. His movement and the angles are just almost impossible to prepare for. You could try to bring in people of the same style. You could try to replicate things in sparring. But until you're in that ring with him, I mean, just tonight, some of the ways he moves, some of the angles he gave, I don't have any idea how anybody could deal with it. There's a reason why he had the amateur and pro career he's had so far, because he is tremendous talent.
And I think exactly. And that's what I was saying the whole time. And it's like Kambosos is not on that level. No discredit to Kambosos, but at this point, bro, you got to decide and you got to make a real decision for yourself whether it's time for you to go ahead and get up out of there, because Lomachenko's not a heavy puncher. Yes, he's going to beat her and batter you with little pepper shots all the way to the end and then finish you, but he kills your spirit. He kills your spirit, he kills your hopes, he kills your dreams, he kills everything that you got going, and he takes it away from you in the ring. Now, what are you going to do to a big heavy hand puncher like Tank Davis or, like I said, Abdullah Mason? Shakur Stevenson will probably piece you apart the way Devin Haney and Lomachenko did. And then you got, like I said, Keyshawn Davis, even Frank Martin. I think Frank Martin and Kambosos is an amazing fight. I think that would be an entertaining fight, but I still think Frank Martin beats Kambosos. Just because you're getting to that point where you kind of hit your peak and you're gonna start deteriorating, and on top of that, like I said, you got hungry wolves ready to make a name off of you because the fighters that you fought. There was no way for Kambosos to truly prepare for Lomachenko unless he got Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz was Lomachenko's sparring partner for years, and Jermaine Ortiz gave Lomachenko a tough run. Yes, Lomachenko beat him, but he knew what Lomachenko was gonna do before Lomachenko did it. Now, let's go ahead and watch the fight highlights and see those little moments where I made my prediction, right? And see how my prediction kind of played out. Pause. Salute to the ref, man. The ref let them fight the whole 12. He did not step in. He did not really become the center of attention at all. He was such a background character in this fight, and I loved it.
And he is going backwards. He has exact.
Okay. Pause. Real quick. One of the things I knew was going to happen. Kambosos was going to be on the back foot. I didn't say it. I don't know why I didn't say it. I should have said it. I should have said Kambosos is going to be on the back foot because Lomachenko is going to cut off the ring. Once Lomachenko cuts off the ring, which he did early on from the first round, it's going to be like Lomachenko just cornering prey. And you will see that play out perfectly from the first round all the way to the 12th. The only thing I thought that was going to happen was Kambosos coming out for a big right hand. But Lomachenko did such a beautiful job of taking that outside foot position and rolling right that Kambosos had no chance to throw the right hand. He looks for it in the later rounds, but just wasn't there.
Exactly what he has. Kambosos is exactly where he needs him right now. Three-punch combination coming to the end of round number 1.
That straight left, when every time Lomachenko kept rotating right, that straight left was just there the whole night. So this is what I mean by the outside foot position. You see this foot, when it gets on this outside, you're behind this guy's shoulder. So he has no real power coming from that shot. It's not going to just come across like that. You have too much movement, and there's too much body in the way.
Where he needs. He has Kambosos exactly where he needs.
You see the outside foot position?
Right now.
And he's either rotating to the right or rotating back out.
Lomachenko.
We're going to see it again right here. Takes the outside foot position, gets the angle.
Lomachenko. And get away
rolls
with
right.
Shots. Nice body shot right there from Kambosos. Oh, good.
And look at Kambosos right here in these exchanges. Look what he's looking for. Look for the right hand.
And get away with shots. Nice body
Right
shot
hand.
right there from Kambosos. Oh,
Right hand.
Exchange to close
Right
out
hand.
the third. Look at this stuff. Short.
Kambosos, look, he's loading up that right hand. He's looking for that right hand. Watch it. He does a little shake.
Left
right
hand on the inside.
Boom.
Goes back to the head.
Watch the little shake.
Is in.
Hand.
At
Look, see the
end
shake.
of
Boom.
7.
It was just a masterful performance by Lomachenko. And although it was beautiful in this part, right? It looked like prime Lomachenko. In mid-fight, I was screaming, "No, Moschenko. He's going to finish him again." Like, no, Moschenko's back. Because Lomachenko has that ability, right? He has that ability just to beat you down till you're discouraged and you just want to quit. But one of the things I do feel, around, I say about 2, maybe 3, 4, maximum 4 years ago, right? Lomachenko started getting punishment. And I don't mean punishment like, oh, he's taking too many shots. No, I mean like little shots that shouldn't be doing damage to his body physically are doing damage to his body, and they're showing physically. And this is no discredit to Kambosos. It's just the fact that Lomachenko is at 35. His body's going to start going through a deterioration period, right? And it's like your aging process. So you start going from 1 to like, I want to say 34, 35. You're going up. You're youthful. You hit 35 and your body just stops producing as much vitamins. It stops producing as many nutrients, and it starts getting hurt easier, and it takes longer for your body to heal. And we're starting to see that on Lomachenko's face. Like, Lomachenko's getting hit with little shots, and shots that never hurt him like 5-10 years ago are hurting him now. You know what I mean? Because Lomachenko came in the boxing game pretty late. I think he came into the pro career like 27, 28. I don't know, but Lomachenko's getting to that period where I think it's time for him to retire. Because although he can compete with the Tank Davises, Shakur Stevensons, the Abdullah Masons, and Keyshawn Davises, even Frank Martin, like, yeah, you can compete with those guys and possibly beat some of those guys up. Bro, I just don't want you getting hurt. Like, you're getting to that point where your body's starting to deteriorate. The physical signs of the damage is being shown a lot easier. Your body can't take as much punishment. So it's either get up out of there or become more elusive. Become so elusive that you don't get touched at all.
But Shakur Stevenson? I mean,
Good body shot.
And maybe next week, Navarrete. And there we go.
Even Navarrete. Like, what happens when Lomachenko goes up against Navarrete? I mean, I personally think Lomachenko beats Navarrete. But, man, that guy got some pop to him. And how does that look on Lomachenko's face? Does he get popped with a big right hand and then he swell up? Because we've seen Lomachenko in this fight like get small swelling throughout the fight. And didn't even get really hit. Look at his face. He didn't really get hit this whole 12 rounds. He barely got touched. And look at his face. So what happens when you got to land a clean shot? What happens when a big right hand, a big left hand clocks you clean? I don't know. I don't want to see it for Lomachenko. I think if he gets hit with a big right hand, his eye swells. His forehead swells. He gets a cut. Like, and if you're starting to see those stages in a fighter, even though you're one of the greats, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. I love watching Lomachenko fight. I think Lomachenko puts on a master class every time he fights, but it's not worth it, buddy. Like I said, Lomachenko's back. I think one of the things Lomachenko did that I hadn't seen him do in years was come back and put that gas on people. When he knew he had them hurt, he knew he had their will beat, he came back and put the gas on them. And that was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see Lomachenko with one of his best performances. And personally, I would say, bro, it's time to wrap it up. Get up out of it. Although you had a masterful performance last night, which I was a fan of, this style just works so well for Lomachenko that it made him look that much. I don't want to see you go in there with Tank. I don't want to see you go in there. Shakur maybe, because Shakur doesn't have punching power, so it'll be a chess match. But I don't want to see you go in there with Tank. I don't want to see you go in there with Abdullah Mason. I don't want to see you go in there with Keyshawn Davis. The reason I don't want to see it is because I'm worried about the punching power of these guys doing some damage to you that can't be undone. You know what I mean? Like, Kambosos didn't have the punching power. Yeah, you have the ability to take their punching power away, but at this age, I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see you take damage that's unnecessary. You solidified yourself in boxing history. You see, and it's so weird that I'm saying this because I understand the simple fact that, for example, I said about Canelo not too long ago. Canelo's pissed that they want him to fight David Benavidez, right? He's like, oh, I fought everybody else. Y'all always gonna say, fight this guy, fight that guy. You're always gonna want something. Yes, bro. As a boxing fan, we're always gonna want you to fight the next guy. And although I would love to see Lomachenko versus Tank Davis, although I love to see Lomachenko versus Shakur Stevens, see how those guys perform against Lomachenko's style, I don't want to see it for Lomachenko's health. Does that make sense? Like, I would love to see it as entertaining as possible, but since I'm a Lomachenko fan, I don't want to see it because I'm concerned about his health. He's taking punishment, not in a way like, oh, he's really getting hit, but like, look at this eye bruising, From what big shot? There was no real big shots from Kambosos. So what happens if, like I said already, what happens if Tank Davis lands a big shot? Does that eye swell shut and then you just get shut out from there, or what happens? And I'm scared of that. Like, dude, Lomachenko is one of them guys that I don't want to see get hurt. Maybe if he was younger, maybe if he was still in his prime, I would love to have seen Lomachenko versus Tank Davis. But at this age, like, bro, you're about to be 36. You're about to be 36. Don't do it. Father of Time is catching up to you. Don't do it. Anyways, besides all that, Lomachenko had a masterful performance last night. There were some things that I kind of called, and I'm kind of proud that I called him. Anytime you say something and you're like, damn, that came true, it just feels good. It feels good. And it was just one of them nights for me where I was just on the edge of my seat because I was like, damn, this is going the way I predicted it. And Lomachenko's just one of them guys. Hypothetically, right? If I wasn't so concerned about Lomachenko's health, I would love to see him against Navarrete, and I would love to see him against Tank. Shakur, obviously, but those two guys, I feel like they got that punching power to where that punching power could, if they just catch Lomachenko, right? Then it's over. Especially with Tank. And Tank has trouble going backwards. Tank has trouble when guys put too much pressure on him. Ryan Garcia, I'm going to say that didn't really count because Ryan Garcia only has a left hook. He doesn't have any other tools in his arsenal. But, for example, Pitbull Cruz. Tank had trouble. All right? Even some of the parts in Pedraza, Tank had trouble. He was getting touched up by Pedraza. Even some of the parts against the dude that he knocked out ugly. What's his name? Leo Santa Cruz. He had trouble with Leo Santa Cruz at some points. It's just Leo Santa Cruz had patterns and habits, and Tank was able to pick that shit apart. So how does Tank do with somebody like Lomachenko who's going to put him on his back foot and change angles? I would love to see that fight. But for Lomachenko's health, I hope he doesn't take that fight. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be excited about it. But I'm going to feel bad if he gets hurt. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about Lomachenko's performance. Y'all tell me where y'all see him going for here. Do you think he should retire? Do you think it's time for him to get up out of there? Or do you think he should go ahead and take on the Navarrete fight or the Shakur fight? Let me know down in the comments what you think he should do. What do you think is the best path for Lomachenko, whether you're a fan or whether you wanted to see him get washed out? I told y'all my opinion. You let me know yours. I'm your host, David. This is Let's Talk Boxing, and I'm out, bro.